Hello, and welcome to Mama T Energy. On this podcast, we explore the journey of living extraordinary lives through taking radical self responsibility for mastering our mindset, actions, and frequency, holding ourselves accountable for staying in alignment with our desires. We are creating a community living fulfilled lives, a conscious collective witnessing daily miracles and sharing our joy. This work creates a ripple effect that gives humanity permission to love our lives and each other. We are consciously raising the vibration of ourselves and the world, making Earth the home we all love to live in. So let's say yes to tapping into Mama T energy. Today, we have a very special guest. We have Erin Marie with us, and she is the creator and mentor behind Mossy, a lifestyle brand for high achieving boss women who are paving a modern way of living, one overflowing with freedom, fulfillment, and happiness. An attitude that dares to hashtag escape the ordinary. Erin, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Mama T. I am so excited to be here today and share my story and all of the things that Mossy is here to bring.
All right, so let's get started. What brought you to the creation of Mossy?
It has been a 45-year journey, and Mossy is my evolution in a nutshell. And something really profound happened to me almost a decade ago, and that was when I became a mother. And in that time, I had an identity crisis because before I became a mother, I was very free-spirited. I did what I wanted to do. I kind of went where the wind blew me, and I followed just all of my dreams and aspirations and what my gut told me to do.
Mm.
Becoming a mother, it was such a beautiful thing in so many ways of not just having beautiful children that I get to lead and really grow in such a way that just blows my mind on a daily basis. But it was really a deepening of who I was. That identity crisis that I had in that moment and that first year of becoming a mother was something that changed my life forever.
Mm.
The burning question of who am I? Why do I do the things I do? Why do I think the way I think? Why do I desire to have more? And what does this mean? And really Mossy was the building of this mission is I have something bigger to do. I have a mission to lead and really show my children what life can be like. And just like I've always led my life before, I get to go first. And it was really that journey of self-discovery and really a deepening of who I was and deconstructing of so many things that steered me in not the wrong direction, just misaligned. And that's when
Mm.
I really started coming into energetics and really leading in a way that was so aligned with my truth and nothing else mattered.
Oh, I love that. Can you talk a little bit more about like what it was like to discover energetics and start working in that space?
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in the time and my mother was such a huge influence of my life of go to school, do better, be better than what we have.
Mm.
So really I lived in a world of hustling and doing and achievements. And when I became a mother, something happened to me that questioned all of that. Those things that I had wonderful experiences from, and they
Mm.
guided to me exactly where I needed to be in that moment of questioning everything. And that's when I really learned about the power of being. And that's where I learned about really personal power and me being the creator of my own life. And sometimes I laugh at how long it took me to realize that it's not about all the doing. It's not about what else can I do to be happy or fulfilled. It was learning, going within and really healing a lot of those limiting beliefs and those conditionings so I could be all that I wanted to be. And with that, all of the results and the success were byproduct of who I was. And that's really when life began to really open up for me and feel so satisfying and so joyful and fulfilled. And when people look back into my life of all the accomplishments I've done, it almost looks as if I did so much more before I was a mother, that my life was way more exciting. But the way I feel is my life is richer than it's ever been, with less of the accolades and the achievements. It's a wonderful thing. And I am so grateful to bring this revelation into motherhood. So my children can see what it really means to live a rich and fulfilling life.
I love the conversation around richness. So, like, this idea that to be rich, you have to have all this money and this stuff and success and accolades and all of this list of things, but it can feel very empty if there's like no passion behind it, no, like you're on the hamster wheel, as I like to call it. You're just stuck in this rat race, but there's richness to life when we choose to really input ourselves. So can you talk a little bit about the way your life looked before you really found your richness?
Absolutely. So before, I loved my life before motherhood. I did some wonderful things. And it's not just the schooling and the college degrees. It truly was following what felt right. So I pivoted a lot in my life. Though I did for the career, 15 to 20 years, the corporate world that I didn't realize I could get away from. It was one of those things that I believed was just a standard that I had to have and do. And then everything else could be better, in my spare time. And I really, truly experienced some wonderful things before motherhood. But there was a deepening where I would do the things I did because I was chasing happiness. And I was chasing something that I couldn't quite put my finger on, but I was just hoping for that feeling that I desired once I did that thing, or I went to that place, or I experienced that thing. And with motherhood and kind of stepping back and dismantling and really starting to be curious on why I did what I did, what made me feel certain ways, and what I was actually chasing was that fulfillment, that there wasn't one thing I had to do to get there except go within. And that has been, a decade-long journey, and it's going to continue for the rest of my life, because the more I do this, the more I align, the more I feel at home, the more my truth comes out, the more that I emit just an energy, a vibe. I attract these opportunities and people and women in my life that just continue to grow me. It's this evolution. It's something I've always. It's who I am, right? I live for evolution. I live for experiences, but now it's an inner experience, an inner evolution rather than anything external. And I truly believe that all those external things are wonderful and we can have them all. But with that, when we go from within and all of those things become a byproduct of who we are, rather than us forcing ourselves into it because we feel like we that we need to do it this way or that way, or feel a certain way, or all the shoulds and, the things that the society or the way we grew up led us to believe that that's how we go through life. So the richness is just that knowing, that feeling that this is our truth, and this we get to share it with the world, and it's just such a beautiful thing. It's hard for me to almost put into words because it's just a feeling inside that just feels so right.
Yes. I like so resonate with this story too. This feeling of chasing after happiness. And when I look back and I think about it, I'm like, man, like I could have been happy right then and there in this moment. Like I'm experiencing so many great things, but I'm so focused on like I haven't hit this money goal yet and I haven't hit this whatever goal in my corporate job yet and my business isn't paying me full time. Like I'm so focused in this lack space that I'm not even seeing all of the miracles happening around me, being able to travel when some people haven't never even been on an airplane before. There's so much magic in our lives when we really like tune in and really come from the soul and our spirit. And then we can, like you said, we can have both, but it feels so much different and it feels more easeful and it feels more
Mm.
vibrant when we come from our soul space.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yes, yes. Look, talk a little bit about Mossy and where the name came from.
So Mossy is sort of an attitude, right? And a way of being, an edge. And I got the word mossy because of modern boss woman or boss mom. So
Mhm.
that's sort of where that mossy is. And that just that organic feeling of the word mossy is because we have everything we need to share with the world and to be able to manifest and attract everything that we want. So it's that edge, it's that way of life, it's the way we carry ourselves, and that evolution that comes with that and the expansion. And so, when people ask me what Mossy is, I love when people ask me that because there's a different answer every single time because it's an ever evolving thing. And this brand really incorporates and encompasses, you know, evolution as the way and curiosity as a superpower. Is if we don't ever stop giving up on ourselves when it comes to who we are and the curiosity, we can become anybody and anything that we really desire. So it just feels so me because I'm just kind of this down to earth lover of nature and expander of my world. And that's where Mossy was born.
Mm, I love it. So, can we talk a little bit about manifestation? I heard the word and now I'm like, ooh, what does manifestation look like for you?
Oh, that's a big word, right? And it's a word that I didn't use for the longest time because it really took me a while to embody what that meant. I would hear other people say it, and it's like, it sounds so woo. Like, what does that mean? I'm such this logical, practical person, right? That's who I carried myself through life for the longest time. And so manifestation to me now really just means that I am the creator of my world, of my reality. And I get to attract in all of my desires because of who I am, because the energy I'm emitting out. That can be in so many different ways. It can be me being me
Mhm.
in my full expression. That can be me refining who I once was. That can be me leading others, being a self leader for myself, and that's the most important, but those around me, my children, like when I be my highest self, I can manifest the most beautiful things into my world as well as the not so good things. And those not so good things are really eye openers for me And, I stay curious. Why did this happen in my life? Who was I? What was I doing? What was I emitting when those things happened? And it's this constant refinement of who I am to be able to manifest everything, to bring into my world what I desire, whether that be confidence, happiness, physical things, money, clients. I get to be the woman first, the mom first, the friend first, the wife first, the human first, to be able to bring those others into my life, to unite that energy. And I love the thing about Mossy, not only is, you know, I directed obviously for women, but it's uniting us. There's something powerful in uniting women together who have the same mission to evolve and grow so we can be leaders of our own life and those around us, especially our children.
Mhm. What has been one of your like favorite manifestations? And can you kind of break down like the point of like, I guess, intention of bringing it into your life and then the creation of it?
Yeah, so, when I think of that question, I don't think of anything physical. I think of my identity. I have manifested a, an identity that brings tears to my eyes, not because I think I'm perfect, but because I am so much more confident with who I am and who I've ever been. I learned that even though I was successful in the eyes of most, the majority of people, my family, they just thought I was the most successful person because of all the things I've done. I learned that I was doing that for validation,
Mhm.
for something more than what I desired, for my own happiness and the identity that I can. And it took me a really long time to be able to look in the mirror and say, you are a mom who cares for about breaking generational cycles and to be the leader. You are the leader who is doing this for the next generation of our family and the women and the world. For me to look in the mirror and say, you are an entrepreneur, you are a boss, because I've never in my life thought of myself as a creative being. This was part of my evolution as a mother. I was so, my life was dictated by the identity that I carried with myself of not being a creative, for being, you know, not spiritual. I believed in evolution, and not in evolution as growth, as evolution as we come from monkeys. you know, there was no spirituality. There was none of that. And that's, carried me through life. I would tell myself, I'm not a people person. I like being in the back scenes. I don't want to interact. I'm an introvert, like all of those things. So when I evolved, I manifested a completely different identity. I am not the same person. And people feel that. And it's hard, they see me and they're like, "Well, you look like Erin," you know? But there is just a different vibe about me. And that is probably one of my biggest and most proudest manifestations. And I continue to manifest, more and more identities, parts of my identity, as I continue. But I think that's probably the thing that really drives home for me.
Mm, I love it. So, and being in this identity, what do you bring to Mossy and what can people expect working with you in that space?
A lifestyle. And that is one of the biggest foundations of Mossy is the lifestyle that yields the results that you want. It's the who you are and the who you're being in total alignment, deconstructing everything what you once thought was how you should do things. We don't follow those rules. We are leaders. We pave the way to not only your own alignment, but to do things the way in which brings you joy and happiness. It will always be the forefront. And I get to show you and I get to lead you to that place, to the confidence, the evolution, the alignment, so you can manifest anything that you want and enjoy the journey along the way. That's where the lifestyle piece is so important because yeah, I started my whole entrepreneur journey 10 years ago as a fitness and nutrition coach. And I see how that part of my wellness has even evolved. Like I would have never 10 years ago called it wellness. It was fitness and nutrition. Let's get in the best shape of your life. Let's, hardcore bro kind of vibe. And it's evolved so much is that the women that come to me, the clients that I have now, it's not about that anymore. It's about feeling so good, having endless energy because you're doing it in a way that makes sense for you, your goals, and your life. Not because you think you need to lose 10 pounds because you'll be happier, but because it's just who you are. There is no end, there is no start and stop of your diet. It's just who you are. It's what you embody, and with nothing more than abundance. Going in with, I get to have it all. I get to love the journey. I get to love my body. I get to love the process and not hate everything about me because I'm not at my goal yet. There, it's no more of that. It's a lifestyle. And this is the most exciting part of it. It's because it's a continual journey with these women that we get to walk together for life. And it's just powerful when you can change those, have those shifts. So you feel like a calmness and a peace run through that guide you on your journey. You don't, it's just this beautiful walk.
Mm. So is it one-on-one work, group sessions? What can people expect to work with you?
So my Well Fit Women program that is starting in October is my first hybrid program. So I love the intimacy of one-on-one. So there's one-on-one and group, meaning just live Q&As, live modules. So we get to learn and have those perspective shifts, but then also the integration and the embodiment. So you can have sustainable results and sustainable shifts that lead to your own evolution and your own growth. So I, of course, have one-on-one. I just absolutely love the intimacy of that. But I also know that there's power in community and power in numbers. So I am about uniting women together. So we have a little balance of both.
I love that. I love it. I talk about it all the time because I too have individual work and community work because I find that when we're in a collective, it just one raises the vibration because there's always like, different people with different energy and you see someone you're like, "Oh my gosh, like I love their energy. I'm bringing forth my best self because they're bringing forth their best self. So we're just
Right.
raising the vibration together." And then also people bring questions and from their own experiences that I would have never thought, but now I get to learn from their perspective. And so it's just so transformative to be in those group sessions. So I have my home mastermind, which is the space for that. And then I also have my private mentorship, which is where we get that one-on-one, and those get access to the home mastermind. So it's pretty amazing that way.
I love that.
I love it. So I believe it's time for a tarot reading. Is there anything that you have like a specific question on, or would you like a general message?
Mm. General message is feeling right.
All right, let's go. Ooh, all right, hold on, my finger. Mm. Alrighty, so first things first, we have the Eight of Swords that's popped up here. And so this is the kind of going to that conversation about allowing our identity to shine through, right? So this is kind of this invitation really to continue to explore who you are and how you want to show up in the world, because the only thing that's holding us back from being the version of ourselves that we desire to be, being our highest selves, being the goddess, the divine, all like the wonderful being in our true power is ourselves. So just this is the reminder to constantly keep checking in, doing that work, looking in the mirror. You've already got it. You know what the process is, and you know that it is a lifelong journey. We get to constantly, question and search and realign. And I like other call for like the audience is just this understanding that there's no perfection to chase after, but it is the truth is all it is, really, is like redefining what our truth is so that we can continue to move forward, so that we're continuing to grow. Because in my belief structure, it's like death is what's the end, right? Like that's the end goal. And so when we stop growing, that's when we die. So there's always like like experiences to have and grow. And then the next one is the seven of cups. And so this is our reminder, like as we grow, as we decide, like we get to choose which in the visual that you're seeing, if you're listening to it and not watching the video, it is there's cups that are upside down. So you're choosing like, what do I want to explore and what do I want to like play in to today? So again, going back to like, who am I? And who am I as I, work out today? Or who am I as I am going out to eat? And what version of myself do I want to be when I am at this restaurant? Do I want to be the one that's like going for something that's decadent and loaded with different calories or whatever, but allowing myself the space to do it? Or is today the version of self that's, I'm going to go very plant-based or whatever, like what does my body want? I'm going to go whichever way. And we get to choose, and we don't have to make it right or wrong. We just get to explore that version within the identity that we are. And the more that we continue to explore within the identity of the version of ourselves that we desire to be, that is what's going to move us forward. And that's this Knight of Swords. This Knight of Swords is this card of momentum. Like the guy is running towards a motorcycle. So like you get your jump start with your intention, with the work that you're doing. And then you start to like build that momentum. And eventually you find yourself on a motorcycle and flying down the road towards what you like, where you want to go as the version of yourself, that being and living. So that is you, that is the work that you do, that is Mossy right there. Like it's all connected. So I love that.
I love that. Thank you so much. The eight is my favorite number. So when you pulled that, I was like, ooh. And then when you said redefining, that is a word that I love to use in Mossy, because it's like you said, there's nothing right or wrong. It's just a redefining, a refinement process. And it's just so beautiful. I love it. It
I
hit
love
home.
it. I'm so glad. Thank you so much for your time and your space, Erin. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our community today?
I would love to let everybody know where they could reach me on Instagram at the Erin.Marie or Mossy Living, Both are my pages that I am active on. And then I have a Mossy Facebook group that I would love for all of the boss women to join who love and live for experiences and evolution. I'd love to have you in there.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you so much. Remember, friends, like, share, subscribe. All the links are in the show notes as always, and I will catch you on the next one. Ta ta
Thank
for
you.
now.